Hello students, welcome to the lecture on types of marketing, and after the lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Discuss telemarketing, understand e-marketing, define rural marketing, explain attitude and culture in rural marketing. Let's start with the concept of marketing. Marketing may apply to be described as the process of defining, anticipating, and knowing customer needs and organizing all the resources of the organization to satisfy them. In fact, satisfaction of customers' needs and wants provides the rationale for the firm's existence. Knowledge of consumer behavior, therefore, is vital for a firm to achieve its marketing goals. The consumer's behavior comprises the acts, processes, and social relationships exhibited by individuals, groups and organizations in searching, obtainment, use of, and consequent experience with products and services. An understanding and knowledge of the motives underlying consumer behavior helps a firm in seeking better and more effective ways to satisfy its customers. It helps to select appropriate sales and advertising strategies and to plan marketing program in a more efficient manner. Let us now talk about telemarketing. Telemarketing is a marketing method in which the salesperson promotes his products or services to the customers through teleservices such as phone or web conferencing. It can either be live marketing by a salesperson or marketing through some recorded voice. It is considered as the most interactive method of marketing. It is an adaptive form of marketing which allows a salesperson to adapt his marketing strategy based on the customer he is talking to over the phone. This method is considered annoying by many customers. Also, many scams have been reported against this. For example, we all are familiar with the banking agents calling us for promoting their loan schemes or their credit cards, and most of us get annoyed at receiving such calls. This is an example of live telemarketing. Another familiar example would be the robocall or recorded call that we get from mobile service providers telling us about their ringtones, hello tunes, etc. The telemarketing concept covers the excellent method of telemarketing. This method is also known as the inside sales. It practices direct marketing, a method where a salesperson calls directly to prospective customers and buyers to sell and present the business's products and services in the use of telephones and the internet. The telemarketing concept has been a rave method in the business arena because of the positive outcome and the several benefits an organization gets out of it. Many businesses create their own call center organization to do the telemarketing task. These call centers can either be an inbound or an outbound calls. Either way, a big revenue returns comes by through these processes. The telemarketing concept has amazed people in the business domain in many ways. This is why many have undergone telemarketing training courses just to perfect the technique of the process. These trainings are designed for different jobs. Trainings for interested businessmen, sales training, corporate training, leadership training, and management training. Telemarketing offers a great list and discussion of benefits. The telemarketing concept requires an instant feedback from customers. This allows the organization and the business to work on the matter instantly. With telemarketing, businesses are capable of reaching a far extent of customers, mainly through telephones and the internet. The inbound telemarketing provides 24/7 full-time support for customers, making the organization reachable and hassle-free. Advertising and traveling expenditures are decreased by a large percent. Good telemarketer. A telemarketer is a person who is responsible for selling a product or service, the phone. Telemarketers may work in a private office, from a call center, or from home. It is often the case that telemarketers never meet their customers face to face, so good telemarketing skills are of utmost importance to achieving success as a telemarketer. Follow these suggestions for how to be a good telemarketer. Prepare for telemarketing. Learn as much as we can about what we are selling. We should have a thorough understanding of what it is, how it works, and how it may be useful to our potential customers. Additionally, we should have genuine confidence in what we are selling and in its value to the people we will be calling. Learn about the organization we work for. A good telemarketer not only sells a product or service but also sells the organization. We should be able to tell potential customers why they should choose us over our competitors. Study the organization history, philosophy, customer reviews, testimonials, and industry ratings in order to be able to provide customers with a complete and favorable picture of who they are dealing with. Make sure we understand the sales process. Once we convince the customer to invest in what we are selling, good telemarketing skills require that we are able to explain the sale process from start to finish. This includes closing paperwork, billing, shipping, refund or return policies, custom support, and any necessary follow-ups. Compile contact information for customers. We should have the business name, the mailing address, phone numbers, email, address, website, manager's relevant information, and any other pertinent contact information that customers may ask for over the telephone. Express confidence. A good telemarketer speaks with the tone of authority that puts customers' mind at ease. If we are amply prepared, then we should be able to talk about the reason for our call and organization with confidence. Practice effective communication skills. Speak slowly, loudly, and clearly enough that customers can easily understand. Do not mumble. Be considerate of the people we are calling. Introduce yourself and explain the purpose of the call as soon as possible in the conversation. Pause and take time to listen to responses as you go. Find the right balance between saying too much and not saying enough. Dead air during a telephone conversation can be very uncomfortable. On the other hand, we can overwhelm and confuse a potential customer by saying too much too fast. Avoid distracting conversation spaces such as and ah. Try not to sound rehearsed. Scripts are common in telemarketing, especially in a call center atmosphere, but it is possible to deliver a script without sounding like reading from a piece of paper. Take some slow breaths and relax before making calls. Then focus on the message behind what we are saying rather than the words themselves. Maintain a positive mental attitude. Remember that some or many of the people our calls may not be expecting our calls and additionally may not be receptive to our calls. It is not unusual for even a good telemarketer to be rejected by several potential customers in a row before reaching one interested customer.
The main key to your business success is catching the attention of your prospective customers and being able to let them know about your product or service. With life in the fast lane, it's almost impossible to keep their attention for more than 5 to 10 seconds. Nowadays, businesses need to stand out from the crowd. They need to provide their customers with something new, something exciting, and something engaging. Imagine being able to add the wow factor to your website, being able to mesmerize your audience, and being able to capture their attention instantly. Great news! We can provide you with a powerful, unique, and productive tool to do just this. A sketch video completely tailored to your specific needs. Sketch videos are designed to convert more prospects, to maintain attention, to create more inquiries, and to explain messages in such a way that they'll be remembered forever. Fact: you're 56% more likely to get your product seen by creating a video that will engage with your audience than expecting them to read through the content of your website. Sketch videos are a new, unique way to capture attention, engage the audience, provide additional information, and reinforce key points. Using creative pictures and words not only captures the attention of your audience, it'll help them retain the information that you've presented. Your business in Sketch provides a way to be different and stand out from your competition. Some video production companies charge $30,000 per minute for one of these sketch videos that you're watching right now. But if you act today, you can secure yours and not even pay a fraction of that price.
Now we shall talk about e-marketing. Marketing has pretty much been around forever in one form or the another. Since the day when humans first started trading, whatever it was that they first traded, marketing was there. Marketing was the stories they used to convince other humans to trade. Humans have come a long way since then, and marketing has too. The methods of marketing have changed and improved, and we have become a lot more efficient at telling our stories and getting our marketing messages out there. E-marketing is the product of the meeting between modern communication technologies and the age-old marketing principles that humans have always applied. That said, the specifics are reasonably complex and are best handled piece by piece. So we have decided to break it all down and tackle the parts one at a time.
So what is internet marketing? Well, depending on whom you ask, the term internet marketing can mean a variety of things. At one time, internet marketing consisted mostly of having a website or placing banner ads on other websites. On the other end of the spectrum, there are loads of companies telling you that you can make a fortune overnight on the internet and who try to sell you some form of internet marketing program. Today, internet marketing or online marketing is evolving into a broader mix of components a company can use as a means of increasing sales, even if your business is done completely online, partly online, or completely offline. The decision to use internet marketing as part of a company's overall marketing strategy is strictly up to the company, of course. But as a rule, internet marketing is becoming an increasingly important part of nearly every company's marketing mix. For some online businesses, it's the only form of marketing being practiced. Essentially, internet marketing is using the internet to do one or more of the following: communicate a company's message about itself, its products, or its services online; conduct research as to the nature, such as the demographics, preferences, and needs of existing and potential customers; and to sell goods, services, or advertising space over the internet. There are several internet marketing components you should know. Components of internet marketing, or online marketing, may include setting up a website, consisting of text, images, and possibly audio and video elements used to convey the company's messages online, to inform existing and potential customers of the features and benefits of the company's products and or services. The website may or may not include the ability to capture leads from potential customers or directly sell a product or service online. Websites can be the internet equivalents of offline brochures or mail order catalogs, and they are a great way to establish your business identity. Then there is search engine marketing, which is marketing a website online via search engines, either by improving the site's natural ranking through search engine optimization, buying pay-per-click ads, or purchasing pay-for-inclusion listings in website directories, which are similar to offline Yellow Page listings. We will look at these in more detail in later videos. Then we have email marketing, which is a method of distributing information about a product or service, or for soliciting feedback from customers about a product or service through email. Email addresses of customers and prospective customers may be collected or purchased. Various methods are used, such as the regular distribution of newsletters or mass mailing of offers related to the company's product or services. Email marketing is essentially the online equivalent of direct mail marketing. Another component is banner advertising, which is the placement of ads on a website for a fee. The offline equivalent of this form of online marketing would be traditional ads in newspapers or magazines. We also have online press releases, which involve placing a newsworthy story about a company, its website, its people, and or its products and services with an online wire service. Then there is blog marketing, which is the act of posting comments, expressing opinions, or making announcements in a discussion forum, and can be accomplished either by hosting your own blog or by posting comments and or URLs in other blogs related to your product or service online. We also have article marketing, which involves writing articles related to your business and having them published online on syndicated article sites. These articles then have a tendency to spread around the internet, since the article services permit republication provided that all of the links in the article are maintained. Article marketing can result in a traffic boost for your website, and the distribution of syndicated articles can promote your brand to a wide audience. Finally, there is social media marketing, which can involve social networks like Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and social bookmarking sites like Dig. So as you can see, there are many parts to internet marketing to consider.
Very simply put, e-marketing or electronic marketing refers to the application of marketing principles and techniques via electronic media, and more specifically, the internet. The terms e-marketing, internet marketing, and online marketing are frequently interchanged and can often be considered synonymous. E-marketing is the process of marketing a brand using the internet. It includes both direct response marketing and indirect marketing elements and uses a range of technologies to help connect business to their customers. By such a definition, e-marketing encompasses all the activities a business conducts via the World Wide Web with the aim of attracting new business, retaining current business, and developing its brand identity. When implemented correctly, the return on investment (ROI) from e-marketing can far exceed that of traditional marketing strategies. Whether we are bricks and mortar, business, or a concern operating purely online, the internet is a force that cannot be ignored. It can be a means to reach literally millions of people every year. It's at the forefront of a redefinition of way businesses interact with their customers. Services marketing. Services marketing is a form of marketing that focuses on selling services. They can be tricky to sell, and the marketing approach for them is much different than the approach for products. Some companies offer both products and services and must use a mixture of styles. For example, a store that sells computers also tends to help people select computers and private computer repair. Such a store must market both its products and the supporting services it offers to appeal to customers. When people market services, the goal is not to get customers to buy a product, but to get people to do business with a particular organization, often in a specific location. Marketing schools usually discuss various techniques that can be used in services marketing. People may also develop their own techniques as they practice marketing in the real world and learn more about what people look for, how they shop for services, and what makes them appealing. Often the goal is to establish a personal relationship with customers so that they will return to the organization in the future rather than taking their business elsewhere. The loyalty is often to the quality of the service rather than to a specific brand or image, and this makes selling it somewhat different than product marketing, in which it is the value of the product that is important.
On one bright and sunny morning, Johnny and Joey decide to start a business. They both had their own great ideas, so they went their own separate ways. Johnny decided to start a brick and mortar store to sell his products. He rented out a nice building at a nice location. He hired a couple of salespeople. He printed brochures and flyers and direct mail pieces. He advertised in the local newspapers. And within a few weeks, Johnny started seeing sales and a lot of local customers. Johnny was excited, but he had a very high overhead and a very low profit margin, so he decided to wait to see some growth. Joey, on the other hand, decided to start an online store to sell his products. Joey got a nice-looking website with a nice little name. He hired a content writer. He invested in online marketing and got some help with SEO and email marketing. He advertised on different websites and signed up for pay-per-click advertising. And within a few weeks, Joey started seeing sales and a lot of customers from all over the country. Joey was excited since he had very low overhead and a very high profit margin, and he could not wait to see some growth. A year passes by. Johnny was still in the same building with the same salespeople and the same marketing strategy and the same local customers. His overheads were still very high and his margins were still very low, so he decides to wait another year to see some growth. Joey moved to a new office, hired more people, and kept getting a lot of new and repeat customers from all over the country. His overheads were still very low and his margins were still very high, so he decides to start another online store to sell a different line of products. Another year passes by. And on one bright and sunny morning, Johnny and Joey meet again. Joey tells Johnny about his new marketing strategy, and Johnny realizes his mistakes. Traditional marketing can only get you so far. Think local, but act global. So this time, Johnny went back and fired his rusty salespeople and fired the old school ad agencies that did the brochures, flyers, and newspaper advertising for him. He hired a good web company and outsourced all his online marketing to them. And within a few weeks, Johnny was again a happy man to see increased profits and lower overheads. And needless to say, he was very thankful to Joey for pointing him in the right direction.
Let's now discuss about the services marketing triangle. Service marketers face marketing challenges which revolve around issues such as understanding customers' needs and expectations of services, making services tangible to customers, and keeping and dealing with promises made to the customers. The services marketing triangle helps service marketers to address these challenges. The 3 points of service triangle represent the organization, the customer, and the employees. Between each of the 3 points of the triangle, different marketing processes such as external marketing, interactive marketing, and internal marketing must be successfully carried out for service processes to succeed and to build and maintain relationships with the internal and the external customers. External marketing. The link between an organization and its customers is the external marketing process. External marketing represents the promises which organizations make to their customers with reference to products or services they offer. Organizations make promises to customers concerning their offerings and how delivery of the offerings will be conducted. The external communication activities of the service provider play a key role in the formation of customers' expectations, because their expectations are affected by the service provider's direct and indirect marketing messages. In goods as well as services, the traditional marketing activities facilitate external marketing processes. Promises made in advertisements and through promotions are used by customers to form service expectations. These can also positively or negatively influence the customer's initial expectations of the desired level of service compared to the adequate level of service. Customers use price as an indication of the quality of the offering, while the promise of availability and accessibility of an offering has an impact on the customer's service expectations. However, for service organizations, factors such as service employees, organizational image and visible structures, and the actual service process itself form the basis for customers' expectations of the offering and the delivery thereof. Customers' expectations and experiences fuse, therefore, much of the final belief is drawn from the environment in which they receive the service and personalities and behavior of the people they encounter during the service. Did you know? The term telemarketing was first used extensively in the late 1970s to describe Bell Systems communications, which related to new users for the outbound WATS and inbound toll-free services. Interactive marketing. The interactive marketing process is about keeping the promises made by the organization to the customer along with delivering a quality service to the customer. Interactive marketing is the actual contact between the service employees and the customers, and it is called the moment of truth or the service encounter. It is a decisive moment in the services process where organizations actually show what they can do and how they meet the set expectations. At these decisive moments, everything about the service process can succeed or fail. The success or failure can be temporary, complete or final, but the interaction can never be restaged or controlled. Now let us talk about rural marketing. The term rural marketing used to be an umbrella term for the people who dealt with rural people in one way or the other. This term got a separate meaning and importance after the economic revaluation. So before venturing into the other aspects of rural marketing, let us define the development of this area in different parts. Part 1, before 1960. Rural marketing referred to selling of rural products in rural and urban areas and agricultural inputs in rural markets. It was treated as synonymous to agricultural marketing. Agricultural producers like food grains and industrial inputs like cotton, oilseeds, sugarcane, etc. occupied the central place of discussion. The supply chain activities of firms supplying agricultural inputs and of artisans in rural areas received secondary attention. Part 2, 1960 to 1990. In this era, Green Revolution resulted from scientific farming and transferred many of the poor villages into prosperous business centers. As a result, the demand for agricultural inputs went up, especially in terms of wheats and paddies. Better irrigation facilities, soil testing, use of high-yield variety seeds, fertilizers, pesticides and deployment of machinery like powder tillers, harvesters, threshers, etc. changed the rural scenario. In this context, marketing of agricultural inputs took the importance. Two separate areas of activities had emerged during this period: marketing of agriculture inputs and the conventional agricultural marketing. Part 3, after the mid-1990s. The products which were not given attention so far during the two earlier phases were that of marketing of household consumables and durables to the rural markets due to obvious reasons. The economic conditions of the country were as such that the rural people were not in a position to buy these kinds of products. Attitude and behavior. Attitude occupies a central position in the process of transforming the work requirements into efforts and thus have a profound influence on one's behavior. Attitudes affect the behavior by serving the four functions of an individual: ego defensive function, value orientation function, knowledge function. These functions and characteristics of rural markets are instrumental function. Attitudes serve as a means to reach a desired goal or to avoid an undesired one. Instrumental attitudes are aroused by the activation of needs, or cues that are associated with the attitude's objects and arouse favorable or unfavorable feelings. Ego defensive. The ego defensive function of attitude acknowledges the importance of psychological thought. Attitudes may be required, maintained to protect the person from facing threats in external world or from becoming aware of his own unacceptable impulses. Value orientation. The value orientation function takes into account the attitudes which are held because they express a person's value or enhances his self-identity. These attitudes arise by conditions that threaten the self-concept, appeals to restart the person's self-image, or by the cues that engage the person's value and make them salient to him. Knowledge. The knowledge function of attitude is based on a person's need to maintain a stable, organized, and meaningful structure of the world. Attitude that provide a standard against which a person evaluates aspects of his world serve as the knowledge function also. Attitude and culture in rural marketing. Culture comprises of values, shared beliefs, ideas and other meaningful symbols that help the individuals to communicate, interpret and evaluate as the members of the society. The cultural factors are said to exert the broadest and deepest influence on consumer behavior. Since attitude shapes the beliefs of an individual, when they become a characteristic of the entire society or a major part of it, they are said to become culture. Since the attitudes are never static and are influenced by the external environment, they also keep the cultural dynamic. Being expressive of the group beliefs and attitudes, culture shapes the consumption pattern and decision-making process of individuals throughout their lives. Now, in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. Knowledge of consumer behavior, therefore, is vital for a firm to achieve its marketing goals. The telemarketing concept has been a rave method in the business arena because of the positive outcome and the several benefits an organization gets out of it. Scripts are common in telemarketing, especially in a call center atmosphere, but it is possible to deliver a script without sounding like we are reading from a piece of paper. The 3 points of the service triangle represent the organization, the customers, and the employees. External marketing represents the promises which organizations make to their customers with reference to products or services they are offering. Interactive marketing performs a vital function in the establishment of a relation between the organization and the customer. The economic conditions of the country were as such that the rural people were not in a position to buy these kinds of products. An understanding of the dress code is vital for promotion of several product categories such as suitings and shirtings.